Good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, March the 24th, 2020. It is currently 2:24 p.m. Central Time. I'm coming to you once again live from Victory Baptist Church, located here in Ovalla, Texas. I'm just here to talk. Yeah, I don't have any real, well, I take that back. I do have a very specific goal for this broadcast, but it's not the typical live broadcast where I'm trying to do some Bible teaching or talking about something in the news. Really, this is just a little bit of self-promotion. I guess I'm going to take a drink of water right now. A little bit of self-promotion. You see, we're always, I mean, once you create a podcast, once you put your sermons online, obviously your hope is that those sermons, those messages, those podcast episodes will be listened to by a whole lot of people and that they will do some kind of good, that they will benefit someone somewhere, and that you can extend your reach. You can try to, you can reach the people in front of you and then try to extend that reach to other people as well. And hopefully accomplish something. We live in a day and age where obviously there's 9 billion podcasts, that are basically new episodes are being uploaded every second somewhere. And so it's people have a lot to listen to and a lot to choose from. So I try to find little ways that are not very expensive, that are not, a major burden of time and effort, to try to at least expand the possibility that people will discover us or come across what we're trying to do. I also am constantly trying to find ways to implement features that those who do currently listen ask for. So I'm always working to do that. So today I can announce the creation of a new site that you can visit on the internet that will provide you some features that some of you have asked for, and an additional feature that I don't know how frequently I will use, but it will be there, all right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the web address. This is a website. It's not an app. You can, for those who, I cannot speak for Android devices, but for Apple devices, it is very, 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 very simple to take any website and save it to your device, almost like it's an app, and then all you have to do is tap on it and it will open. If you don't know how to do that on an Apple device, I can send you the instructions. It takes literally like 3 seconds. Very simple. And I already tried it with this website and it works fine. All right. But here is the site. I'm going to give you the web address. Here you go. Are you ready? I'm going to go through this slowly because I'll get emails. First, in the description of this podcast episode, the address is there. So if you can see the description, you can copy and paste it into your browser. It's very easy to do that, or you can just write this down. Here we go. If you can, today, anyone who hears this, those listeners on SoundCloud, those listeners on YouTube, those listeners on iHeartRadio, and all the other number of podcast platforms you may be hearing me, please take some time today to go to www.podpage, that's Podpage, Podpage. Think of it as a podcast page, all right? A podcast page. Podpage, podpage.com. That's podpage.com/theology. And then we'll call it the minus symbol, right? Theology, the minus symbol, central. www.podpage, podpage.com/theology, minus symbol, central. All right. Podpage.com/theology, minus symbol, central. And that's the reason I'm calling it a minus symbol is everyone will be able to find it. If I go pull up the symbols I hold an iPad in my hand. The symbol is right next to the plus symbol and the equal symbol and the percentage. So we'll call it the minus symbol. So www.podpage.com/theology minus symbol central. All right. That's all you need. and then you'll go there. It will open the site. It will say, you'll see a site that says Theology Central, making theology central. You'll see in the background, New York City. I believe that's New York City. That's the image I went with. Kind of, New York City, central to America. I don't know, center of America. I don't know what I was thinking, but I've changed the heading here a number of times, but Theology Central, making theology central. And then underneath that, you'll see recent episodes to open or not to open, which is what I just did. And you'll notice over to the right, you'll see 3 little lines. And if you tap on those little lines, it will bring down all the menu. You have episodes, categories, blog, rate the show, subscribe. Very interesting. If you go to episodes, the very first thing on episodes, all episodes, and guess what it says? Search episodes. Search episodes. This is what many of you have asked for. Many of you have asked for a search feature. How do I search? How do I search? How do I search? There is the search option. I've got to do a better job of hopefully trying to put as many details when I create something, trying to put all these details to make it easy to find. But hopefully the search option, you should go there and start using the search option. Now, some of you are going to be asking, wait a minute, that's the Theology Central podcast. There you do all your daily broadcasts. What about your sermons? The VB? Well, I'm getting ready to. I've been talking to this is podpage is a new thing, brand new thing. It's a brand new thing. It's still in beta. I have been talking with the creator of Podpage. He has been very helpful. Been offering ideas, throwing out suggestions. They've implemented some of them. They've done that. You'll also know if once you go to podpage.com. I'm looking on an iPad. There'll be a little line there. Those 3 little lines. It'll drop down the menu, and you'll see blog. And I've done 3 blog entries as well. I may use that as well for additional information, mainly just to post other things that maybe I want you to hear or listen to or see. So please, podpage.com/theology -symbol central. There you go. You don't even need another / at the end of central. That's the way it shows up, but I tried it without it and it still works. All right. If you cannot find it, I know asking people to email sometimes is like asking people to cut off, both hands. But if you will email, it's funny. Back in the day, back when I was on sermon audio, emails were all the time. Now it's I don't get nowhere close to the emails I used to get, which in some ways is good because typically those emails were filled with "I hate you," "You are horrible," "You should die," "You're an idiot," I won't even go out all the wonderful emails I would receive. And it great when you receive emails from people listening to you on a Christian website and they send you nothing but horrible, hateful things. Yes, always wonderful. But if you would like to know how to actually get to this page, if you cannot find it, again, it should be in the description wherever you're listening to this podcast. But if you can't find it, email me at newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. Just simply say, give me address. Give me the address, and I'll just simply send you the address, nothing else. Won't save your email and bother you with anything in the future. All right. We will be creating, as I was saying, and took a turn and didn't finish my statement. We will be creating a site for VBC. I'm currently working with the owner of of Podpage to try to fix it. Something got weird mixed up, and it put VBC with the Theology Central, and it got connected, and I couldn't do anything with it. So I'm going to create that site here shortly, and then I'll do a broadcast and tell you how to find that. It should be the same thing. What it should be is podpage.com/VBC. That should be all. That's how it should be. Podpage.com/VBC. That should be ready to go shortly. I'll try to get that ready, and I will keep you up to date with that. Now, why do I want to do one for VBC? Because people are always asking, how do I search for your sermons? How do I search sermons? What if I'm looking for a specific sermon? There you go. I'm going to fix that problem as well. So please do that. Now, we also have I think it's vbc66.org, vbc66.org. that website is available. That's a very basic, straightforward website. It's not really, it has a place to listen, but again, that's just going to pull up the player from Spreaker, and you can't search, right? You can't search. So this will solve that problem. We were on sermon.net? We were on sermon.net. We were paying, I don't know how much money per month for that. The problem with sermon.net is the problem you have with a lot of times trying to get your content on a lot of different websites. Here becomes the difficulty. You produce said content, and then you spend 5 hours trying to get your content on 500 different places. I don't like that. I don't want that. I do not want this endeavor to take up more of my time than it does. I really don't. I want to be able to produce content, but that's it. I don't want it to destroy and dominate my life. I've been there, done that. Don't ever want to go back to that. So with sermon.net, it had this great search feature. But guess what I had to do? Every time I got done with a sermon, I had to go home and then try to upload it to their very, I won't say convoluted, very time-consuming system to get your sermon ready to be uploaded. It required far more time. And so I just basically stopped doing it. And basically the numbers from for sermon.net, horrible numbers. We do better numbers on SoundCloud. We do better numbers on YouTube. We do far better numbers on iHeartRadio. We do far better numbers on Google Podcast. We do far better numbers on Apple Podcasts. We do far better numbers on Overcast, I think, is another podcast. We do far better numbers from those than we were doing on sermon.net, which is just crazy because we were posting our sermons on a sermon site, but we do better numbers on SoundCloud for our sermons than we do on a sermon site. I don't know if that is a bad sign or a good sign. I don't know how to interpret that. That's not good, I guess. Some would say that's a bad thing. Yeah, I always have a tendency to make Christians mad at me. I don't know why. So who knows? I'm such a nice, easy, calm. I'm a calming presence. I'm so calm and peaceful, never get excited, never say even anything that could be remotely interpreted as harsh. I couldn't be blunt if you paid me $500. Okay, obviously no one who listens to me believes anything I'm just saying. But okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to be using these two things for the VBC podcast and for the Theology Central podcast. I'm not going to do it for anything else, just those two. The Theology Central, we're using we're using a kind of their little bit more expensive program. We're gonna back it down for the VBC one to be a little cheaper. We will see. We canceled the sermon.net, so that saves us that money. And sometimes I want to cancel our SoundCloud page. I really do sometimes, but if I cancel the SoundCloud page, we're talking, we can't get the SoundCloud people to come to Spreaker. We can't get the SoundCloud people. It's weird. The SoundCloud people almost never communicate with me, never communicate. They never say a word, but the numbers are always good. So I don't know. I would save us some money, and then that would cover the cost for the pod pages. But we will see how valuable the pod pages are. So if you listen, this is where I need you. I need you so much. Please hear me. Feedback. Talk to me. Go to the pod page. Do they look like they could be something that could be helpful? They could be useful. They could allow you to search function that you want. If they are helpful and they provide you the search function that you are wanting, let me know, and then we will see how we do that. I may move the Theology Central one down to the cheaper level. The cheaper level is not very much. It's only $5 a month, so it's not very much. Right now I went with a little bit more expensive one to try to see how I want to utilize all of those features. Now I have two of them to compare, the higher price one and the lower price one. And if I don't see a major difference, I'll drop it down and we'll go there. But podpage.com/theology-central, right? podpage.com/theology-central. Please visit the site, look around, let me know what you think. we will try to have podpage.com/VBC up and running here shortly. And then we'll see if that will be beneficial, especially during a time where we don't know for sure how long this, we're closing everything down. We can't meet as a church. This is a situation where an internet presence becomes not only does it become helpful, it becomes absolutely critical. I've seen churches scrambling to build websites right now. We got to build a website. Well, hey, how do you live stream? Hey, wait, how do I get my sermons online? What do I do? Okay. Well, so this is a situation where all of my effort and work to do this has proven to be, we didn't have to scramble. And to be honest with you, all the years of, for whatever criticism and all the negativity and negative things that did occur from all of my past success in doing this, it really did prepare me to be able to preach and to teach and to do teaching and to use technology during this kind of a situation. There are pastors out there struggling. I don't even know how to do this. That feels weird to them. I'm used to talking to an empty room. So I guess in that case, I have been prepared for this. So we want to make this available to everyone. You can look at it. You can determine its usefulness. If you don't think it's useful, let me know. I mean, it won't hurt my feelings. If you're like, not useful. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. It's perfectly okay. I won't get upset at all. No. Okay, no, I'm joking. I would rather you hurt my feelings and tell me it's not useful, so that I can make a determination. But podpage.com/theology-central. All right. There we go. I'm making it as simple as I can, even for the non-technical people. If you want to place that site on your mobile device, where it's right there like an app that you can tap on the screen, I can tell you I can send you the directions on how to do it for Apple. Simple for Apple. I'm assuming it's simple for an Android device. I would think. Who knows? All right. I'm getting notifications about more coronavirus news. Man, crazy time to be alive. So there you have it. That's kind of what we're trying to do. We'll continue to try to do different things to improve different things. A couple of things you could do for me. Here's some things you could do for me. This would be very helpful. If you listen on Apple Podcast, rate the podcast. Click that little 5-star. Write a review, something nice. That moves. Listen, you don't think it's important, but that immediately elevates the podcast to being discovered and being found. The more reviews, the more it moves up. Those podcasts that have no reviews, nobody ever finds them. Look at Joel Osteen. Look at Stephen Furtick. Look at how many reviews they have. All right? Now, also, they have 27 billion downloads. Okay, that helps as well, but you get the idea. Write a review. That if you use Google Podcasts, even if you don't use Google Podcasts, but you have an Android device, go to Google. Is it Google Play? I believe it's Google Play or Google Podcast. Google Podcast. Go to Google Podcast. Do a search for Theology Central. Do a search for VBC, and click a 5-star rating. That's it. A 5-star rating, and write just a short review of why you like the podcast. That's helpful. If you're using any other podcast platform, if there's a way to rate it, rate it. If there's any way to share it, share it. If there's anything you can do, all that kind of stuff is helpful. YouTube people, positive comments. I get plenty of negative ones from non-Trinitarians. Okay, if for the pro-Trinitarians, right? It's something positive. Subscribe. I don't know what else you can do on YouTube. I'm as so far out of touch with the YouTube world as possible. I rarely go on YouTube. Okay, so but whatever you can do, look at how you're listening and do so. If you're listening to us via Spreaker, follow us. Follow us. When you download the app, hit that follow button. You have to put in your name and email address. That increases our followers. Someone today, when I was live on the air, hit the like button. I don't know who it was. Thank you. Those kinds of things are helpful. Just little things like that. And not just for me. And I'm going to make this very clear. Not just for me. Any podcast you listen to, if it's a very unknown podcast or it's an unknown YouTube person, anything you can do helps them. Try to remember this. Podcast today, a podcast, this is what a podcast is in 2020. A podcast today is 1 grain of sand in a desert, all right? It's 1 grain of sand on planet Earth, right? It's 1 grain of sand on planet Earth. Think of all the sand on planet Earth. Think of 1 grain of sand. Nobody notices it. Nobody sees it. Nobody even knows it exists. Those who do find it and discover it, if they do what they can to help promote it, do little things, then it can gain a little traction, and maybe it becomes a little bit more noticed. So that is helpful. If you want it to be heard, that's great. So podpage.com/theology-central. Please visit the site today. I'm going to get the analytics. I'm going to know how many people actually did or didn't. Okay. I know how many people listen to me live. I know how many people download. I know it's one of the devastating things for being a podcaster in 2020. You get so many statistics and all this analysis of all of this data. I mean, do I have more men listening or more females listening? I know age group. I know demographic. I know if I have older people or younger people. I know if I have Apple users or Android users. I know if you're using an iPad or an iPhone and what iPhone you're using. It's crazy how much data is available to a podcaster. But sometimes it can be depressing. Sometimes you're like, what is going on? What did I do wrong? Please help me. All right. So just keep that in mind. And I don't take it for granted because I know everyone's got a million things to listen to. So there you have it. Podpage.com. Podpage.com. As always, if you're listening, podpage.com/theology-central. It should read podpage.com/VBC. That should be coming soon. I'm going to try to finish that here in a minute. Please. Someone sent me an email. I don't know how far back, saying they discovered me and they listened to us on Overcast. I was like, great. Okay, Overcast. Wonderful. There's so many podcast platforms. I want to know where you're finding us. I'm working. And if there is if you listen to me, but there's a podcast app you use and we're not there, tell me what to do. If you can add it, then add it. If you can't, you don't know how to add it, let me know and I'll do whatever I can that's in my power to get it added, because we've got to get it available. I mean, there's so many podcast platforms. You've got to be on all of them. If you're not on all of them, then you're just basically hurting yourself. Even within, my church is not much of a podcast listening church. Most of them, I don't know if anyone in my church really listens to that many podcasts. I don't even know if they have a podcast app on their devices for most of them. So it doesn't hurt for my church as much, but man, other people have podcast apps and they listen to gobs of podcasts. So you got to be on the ones that they're using, or in many cases, they won't bother to go get another podcast app to hear you. And that's just the way it works. So, all right, I'll stop there. Email me, newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. Feedback would be greatly appreciated. No, let me take that back. Feedback, absolutely necessary or I will die. There you go. And when I say feedback, I'm just asking about the pod pages. I need to know about that. I'm not asking, making you feel guilty for not giving me feedback on everything. No, just the pod pages. podpage.com/theology-central. All right. Everyone can find the minus symbol. I hope so. All right. And the other one should read podpage.com/VBC. And remember, if look for the episodes tab, and the first thing there should be a search bar. Start searching and see if it works. See, and rate the search function. If the search function is horrible, let me know. And if there's any feature on the pod page that you wish was there, this is the time. Since it's in beta and we're one of the beta users, I can directly chat with the people working on the on the pod page situation. I can give them that feedback immediately, and then I can say, "Hey, here's a feature people are asking for. Here's a feature people are asking for." This gives you a chance to help design it. Right? I always love being a beta tester. Always love being a beta tester for anything. I don't care. I do the beta test for all the for the iOS updates. I'm always doing beta test for that. Beta test for I've done beta tests for anything I can do a beta test for because I love to try out new things. I like to be right there before everyone else can see it. So we're doing beta testing here. So your input would be greatly appreciated. All right, everyone. I know we have some listeners in the Tennessee area, and I haven't verified this, but or at least I heard it on the radio, but I think there's a chance for some severe storms in that area, so please be careful. Everyone, I know we have listeners in Ohio. Man, I've heard lots of things about the coronavirus there. Please be safe. Wherever you are, if you're a normal listener and you've communicated with me in the past, please take a few minutes and email me and just let me know that your family is safe, that you're safe. And if there's a need that we can somehow try to help you with, let us know what that is, and we'll do what we can. And to members of Victory Baptist Church, I'll continue to say this. If anything is happening with your job and there's any kind of financial situation that's developing, let me know ASAP so that we can do whatever we can to help you immediately. All right, everyone look out for one another. Stay informed. Take necessary precautions as we continue to live through this global pandemic, coronavirus, COVID-19, in the year 2020. All right, God bless. Thank you for listening.